Besides doing effective revision for your sciences by taking notes in class, by preparing good notes, by doing revision at regular intervals, all that, equally important is how you write in exams. And for that, today I'm going to discuss some tips for science. And it includes all physics, chemistry, biology, all the three sciences. So these are some of the points which you should keep in mind. And one of them, of course, the first one, which sometimes we tend to forget, is that neat handwriting is very important for scoring well. Now, usually when you're small, then you can always improve on your handwriting. So you should try to develop a habit of writing neatly as well as legibly, so that it is legible, so that your examiner can read and understand. One very common misconception students have, that they don't have to bother about the grammar part in science paper. They feel even if they write wrongly, even if there is no proper sense of verb or subject, it is okay because it is science. But that is wrong. Because even in science also, the spelling of keywords, the correct grammar, all these are very crucial. Now when I am checking, because I teach mainly science, when I'm checking the examination scripts of my students, and if I find horrible spellings, even the child can't spell the keyword correctly, the grammar part is all gone, there is no sense of is, are, then it gives a very poor impression of that student. So although it is not an exam of English, but writing the answers in good English with correct grammar and spellings is equally important here also. Then in science, another thing to keep in mind is that the questions, usually you have three types of questions here: multiple choice questions, then we have the short structured questions, and we have the long questions. Now MCQ is okay. You have to read the four options and then you have to choose which is the correct one and then tick on that. Or you have to circle, because sometimes it's optical sheet, so you have to circle with black pencil. So when you're attempting MCQ, sometimes the correct answer, you may not know the correct answer, or it may not be very easily visible. So then you can use the process of elimination, because you may find that out of the four options, two are absolutely wrong. So eliminate those. So out of the other two, then see which one is more correct, reading the question again. Now sometimes we teachers intentionally give closely related answers or options in MCQ to check whether you have read the question properly or not. So to do such type of MCQ, you eliminate the totally incorrect one. Out of the two relevant options, then see which one is more applicable to the question asked, and that is how you answer. So it is usually by shading process. But the short structured questions and long questions, that is where you are supposed to write the answers. Now for short structured questions, usually they are 2 marks or 3 marks questions, 2 or 3 marks questions. So what is expected in this is the straightforward, short and concise answers. So write that. No need of writing long answers in short structured question, because we are expecting precise to the point answer, but it should be written in full sentence. Don't just write few words. So if supposing say which pigment is used in the photosynthesis in plants, so just don't write chlorophyll. Right? Chlorophyll is the pigment which is used in the photosynthesis of plant. That's what I mean, that you should write short structured answers in full sentences. Now long questions, of course, here you have to describe the whole process. So I use the word describe because usually you will be asked on something, how it works, why it works like that, what is the process involved. So long question, usually they're asking for some process, what is happening there, and so therefore we expect all the details. So you should write all the details, as well as you can write some add some diagrams there. So long questions, depending on the marks, it is 5 marks or 6 marks, or sometimes can be 10 marks also. And of course, depending on the time available, it can, therefore you are expected to write 2 pages, 3 pages, the whole process, describe it properly along with the help of some diagrams and flow chart. Then that will be a good long answer. Now if we look into the chemistry now let me look separately in the 3 sciences. In chemistry, very important are your formulae and chemical equations. So if you are writing some answers in chemistry but you do not use formulae or chemical equations, then that's incomplete. So you should write your formulae and this clearly. Then only you will be able to get full marks or good marks. Chemistry actually is like maths. If you apply the knowledge, the info to the question asked properly and complete it with the formulae and chemical equations, you will get full marks. As regards physics also, just like chemistry, we need here formulae. Usually there are not chemical equations there, but there are other equations. In different chapters, there are other equations. Almost in every chapter you have formulae and equations, and those should be written clearly. Now in case of both physics and chemistry, many times there are numericals questions to be solved. So in these both subjects where you have numericals to be solved, then write the equation which you are using clearly, show all the working steps, write appropriate units, and draw any diagram if needed. So in that way, if you do your numericals properly, then only you will get full marks. Sometimes students just read the numerical either in physics or chemistry, do some calculation, and then write the final answer, 200 moles, 200 grams. But then if the equation is not there, the steps are not shown properly, the unit is written wrongly, then you miss most of the marks. So just like maths, here also each working step, formulae, everything carries marks. When writing the long answers in chemistry and physics, of course, you can use the flow chart. Just now as I discussed above, so then you can either use a flow chart or the paragraphs, describe the whole process in side headings, and then if there is a diagram, include the diagram. For example, in chemistry, if students are talking about blast furnace method for iron extraction, then you should write the 4 steps involved in the process, then draw the diagram of blast furnace method, write the word and chemical equations for the process, and then summarize the whole process showing the reactants and products clearly. Then in such a way the answer will be complete and you will get full marks. Now regarding biology, here along with the text, diagrams are must. I have seen students are writing paragraphs and paragraphs on something describing a particular structure or part of the body. But it would have been better if they had drawn a diagram also. When you have a fully labeled diagram, then you don't have to write that much and you get more marks. So in biology, very, very important for you to draw fully labeled diagrams, flow charts of processes, and if there are some chemical equations, for example, in the process of digestion or in the process of muscle contraction, in any of those where the energy is produced, Krebs cycle, photosynthesis, then uh, even equations are very important. So if you, along with the text, if you supplement it by using diagrams and equations, then your answers in biology will be very nice and will be able to score very well. So if you follow these tips for writing exams in science, whether it is chemistry, physics or biology, I'm sure you will be able to score very good marks. So good luck for writing your exams in sciences. Bye.